In this video, we're going to look at estimates versus actuals. The exercise we're going to follow along with is over here on the right-hand side of my screen, and this is pulled from our advanced level ProAdvisor certification course, which if you would like more information about that course after we go through the exercise, be sure to check out the link below in the description. Let's dive right in and see what our scenario is today. Developer Photography is expanding their studio to include an outdoor space for photo shoots. They have asked Craig to help get the space photo ready by doing some trimming, installing lighting, and installing a rock fountain. Craig would like to be able to track and compare the actuals to the estimate. So let's take a look at how to accomplish this. You will need to be in the advanced sample company in order to do this exercise. You will need to click on this link right here. I'll also put the link down below in the description in order to get to it. Now, keep in mind that once you click on the link, you will have to select that you're not a robot and then click continue before you get to this screen, which is the dashboard and the advanced sample company. I know we usually work in the sample company, but this is the advanced sample company, and we have to use this one because some of the features are a little bit different than the regular sample company. So once you have clicked on that link and you get to this spot, we are going to move forward with the exercise. But as a quick note here, you must be completely logged out of your QBO account prior to opening the advanced sample company, or you're just going to load into your own QBOA account. So make sure that you are completely logged out. Click on this link. Click that you're not a robot and continue, and then you will get to this page. So let's get started with the exercise. In order to track estimates versus actuals, you need to first create a project. In a real life scenario, you would need to turn this feature on in account and settings. However, in the sample company, it's already turned on, so you can go ahead and get started. Account and settings, just as a note, you would click on the gear icon and then click on account and settings. But since this feature is already turned on, we don't need to do it. All we need to do is get started. From the left navigation bar, we're going to click on projects. So projects is down here. It's towards the bottom of the left navigation bar. Once you find it, go ahead and select it. And then you will get this page here just giving you an overview. If it's your first time in this area, just giving you an overview of what's going on in the project center. So we want to start a project. Click on the green Start a Project button, and you'll get this pop out to create that new project. So in the project name field, we want to type outdoor photo space. So click into it and then go ahead and type that. So outdoor photo space. We want to link this to Developer Photography. So in the customer field, select Developer Photography. You can click the down arrow and scroll a little bit, or you can start typing in their name. Either way is fine. Once you find it, go ahead and select their name. And we're going to leave everything else as is. So we just need to click on the green Save button on the bottom right corner. Once you do that, you will see this dashboard for this particular project. So there is a note here that we are in the sample company, so you may need to close out some pop-ups. I did not get any this time. Sometimes they appear, sometimes not. If you do have any pop-ups, just go ahead and click out of them. It's nothing that we need for this exercise. All right, so now that we have created the project, we can create an estimate for that project. After taking a look at the space, Craig anticipates this project will require 2 hours of trimming, 1 rock fountain, and then 5 packs of lights for the garden. So let's get an estimate ready based on this information. Now, if you've ever created an estimate before, you know that you can always use the plus new button, but we want this estimate to be tied to the project. So we need to create an estimate from the project center of QBO, not from the plus new button on that main screen. So in order to do it within this project center, you want to click on plus add in the estimates and actuals section of the screen. Alternatively, you can create an estimate by clicking on the drop down arrow on the green Add a Project button in the top right corner and then select Project Estimate. So just What this alternative is just clicking that down arrow and then selecting project estimate. But the other way to do it as we have it written here is to click the plus add right here. So go ahead and do that. Oh, there's my pop-ups. If you get those, go ahead and click out of them. I'm going to try that plus add one more time. There we go. Now we have the project cost estimate. So note that when you create an estimate from within a project, the project will be pre-selected by QBO along with billing information. So you see their name and the project right there, and then all of the information. And then this estimate date is already populated for you. It defaults to today, but of course, in a real life scenario, you want to make sure that the estimate date is matching whatever date you are doing the estimate. So now we'll add the details of the estimate into the product service table. So on the first line of the product service field, we want to select trimming. So go ahead and click into that box right there. You can start typing in trimming, or you can use the arrow and scroll down to find it. Once you do, go ahead and select it. Now remember that he said this would be about 2 hours of trimming. So in the quantity field under your costs, you want to go ahead and type a 2. If you hit the tab key over, you will see that it is moved over to the next box here. But in this section titled Your Costs, which is all right here, it is showing as 0. Now, since trimming is a service item, Craig's cost will be related to the employee he has doing the work. For the purposes of this exercise, we will not be worrying about it, so just leave this as 0. So we are all done with this particular line. Now we need to add in the rock fountain. So in the product service field on the second line, we want to select rock fountain. So click into that box. You can use the drop down arrow to scroll and find it or type it in. Once you find it, go ahead and select it. We're going to see here that once we do, all of the details of the rock fountain have been entered in by QBO. So everything's populated for us, and we don't need to do anything here because we had one. This is the cost of it, and then this is already pre-populated for us because we have the rock fountain set up in QBO. All right, so our last thing in the product service field, we're going to, on the third line, select lighting. So click into that box one more time. You can go ahead and type it, or you can scroll to find it. Once you do, go ahead and select it. The other information is going to appear for us. As you remember from the scenario, Craig estimates that the project will require 5 packs of lights, and so we need to enter 5 in the quantity field. So get rid of that 1 right there and go ahead and type a 5. Now you will notice that this line does not pre-populate with costs the way that that rock fountain did. For the purposes of this exercise, let's just assume that each pack of lights will cost Craig $20, and then he's going to charge the customer $40. So in the Your Cost section in the rate field, we want to type 20. That is this column right here. Delete that 0 and go ahead and type 20. And then we need to show what the customer price is. So in the customer price section in the rate field, type 40. So here is that customer price section. Go ahead and click into it and type 40. If I hit the tab key over, you will see that QBO is updating that calculation. And so we have a subtotal of, well, it ends up being a total of $545 right here. So now we're just going to click on the down arrow next to save and send and select save and close. So you can go ahead and click that. As a note here in a real life scenario, if you wanted to click save and send, it would go directly to the customer. But since we can't do that here in the sample company, we're going to click on that down arrow and then select save and close. And that estimate has been saved. Now, since the estimate is still marked as pending, the progress bars in the estimates versus actuals box are not going to populate. So that is this box right here. It's not showing anything because that estimate is pending. You will only see a change if the estimate status is accepted or closed. So the next part here of this exercise, after looking over the estimate, Developer Photography decided that they wanted to move forward with the project. Now, Craig does not want to send out the invoice just yet, so we will manually update the estimate status. However, creating an invoice from an estimate would also accomplish the needed status change in a real life scenario. So let's go ahead and update that. To open the estimate that we just created, let's go ahead and click on transactions. So that is right down here. Go ahead and click on that tab to have the estimate pull for us. This is the one that we just created. It is currently showing as pending. Let's go ahead and click on the edit link right there so that we can get that estimate pulled up. Currently, it is showing again as pending. So we want to click on pending to expand the drop down and then select accepted, because remember that developer said they want to move forward with it. So click on that down arrow, and then you will see from this drop down, you want to open that up and then select accepted. We are all good here, so we can go ahead and save and close. If you wanted to fill in this other information, you could, but we don't have that information here, so we're just gonna move forward. Go ahead and click on the green save and close button. And now that estimate has saved, and you will notice now that it has showed the status has now moved to accepted. And now you can see the values populated in the estimates versus actuals box. You will see it right here. If you hover over it, you can see that estimated income, and you can also see it here as well. Now that the project is moving forward, it's time for Craig to pick up the necessary supplies. After checking the warehouse, Craig realized that he actually has a rock fountain in stock, so he only needs to pick up some lights. He takes a trip to Norton Lumber and to get the lights. So let's add that expense to this project. So while it's still in the project, we're going to click Add to Project to expand the dropdown and then select Expense. So that is the green button right here. Go ahead and click on that. And then you see Expense. Go ahead and select that. So let's go ahead and fill it out. For the payee field, we want to select Norton Lumber and Building Materials since that is where he purchased it from. You can go ahead and click into it and either scroll, or you can start typing in Norton Lumber to get it to appear. Once you find it, go ahead and select it. Now we'll just assume that he used his debit card, so we're going to leave the payment account as checking. And as a note here, this payment date automatically defaults to today, but of course, if you are doing this in real life, you need to make sure that that payment date matches the date of the expense. Now you will note here that Craig has an outstanding bill with Norton that pops up in the drawer on the right. That is right here, and it popped up as soon as we selected Norton Lumber and Building Materials. We will not be worrying about that for right now, so you can either ignore it or close the arrow or click on the arrow to close it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to collapse it. So if you want to, you can click on this arrow so that we are only seeing the expense. In the category grid, we want to start typing and then select the first option. So go ahead and click into it, type in lighting, and you will see two options appear. We want to click on the first one. And as a hint here, the word fountain is singular in the account name, not plural. So it's this one. This is the expense account. There is a similarly named one right here that is an income account. This is not the one that we want. And as a note here, in real life, if you have two accounts that are named very similarly, highly recommend changing that up so that you don't accidentally select the wrong one. So go ahead and click on the first one that says fountain, singular. In the description field, let's say what this is for. It's lights. So click into the description field and go ahead and type in lights. Now for the amount, you can let QBO do the calculating for you. So we're going to type 5 times 20 since we know that Craig is buying 5 packs of lights at $20 per pack. So click into the amount field, type 5 times 20, and once you hit the tab key, it will automatically make that calculation for you, and it's for $100. Now, Craig is not going to be billing developer separately for the lights. It's already included in the estimate. So we're going to uncheck billable. That's right here. Make sure you uncheck that so it is no longer a green check mark. And then in the project or the customer project field, it should already show developer photography outdoor photo space, but you want to double check that it does. And it does, in fact, show the correct project or customer and project together. So we are all good here. All we need to do now is save and close. That is the green button down here on the bottom right corner. And that has been saved. And you will now notice that we have populated, now that we have populated an expense, we can see it on the bar is now actually populated. So if you hover over the bar, you can see a comparison with the difference. So again, if you hold your cursor over this, you will see this black box that gives you the actual cost, the estimated cost, and then the difference. So now that we have done that, recorded that expense, let's look at the estimate versus actuals report. Now, in a real life situation, you would send out an invoice to the customer and complete the project. But for this exercise, we will just be practicing creating the report. So the next step here is after the project is completed, you would send an invoice. So let's see how to run that report. You want to click on Project Reports. That is the tab right here. Go ahead and select that. You will have a list of different reports that you can run. We want the one that is estimates versus actuals. So go ahead and click on that one. And then once you do, you will see the report pulled up for you. And this is showing the progress of the project compared to the estimate. So you have all these columns. Here's that estimate cost, the actual cost, and then it's showing the difference and so on and so forth all the way across. And that is how you would look at estimates versus actuals in projects. Now, if you like this exercise and you want to do more like it, or if you would like more information about that advanced level ProAdvisor certification course, be sure to click on the link below in the description. And I will